Welcome to Planter Garden TV. What's going on, guys? Wow. We now start getting some rain. Months we ain't see rain. We finally start getting some rain. And while the rain is coming, we start seeing a little damage because the pepper them is so heavy. Look at the size of the almost a whole pepper tree as a limb breakdown. So what's up, guys? What's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Garden season is thriving still, guys. That rain, my goodness, that rain has made my eggplant and them look so amazing. Man, look at them. Look at them. We actually in November now, guys. And look how healthy these plants looking. The rain has come and my goodness, they looking so beautiful. They even producing still, and we actually in November. All right, so what I want to do, we still have maybe like 2 weeks for the frost. Oh yes, and we see our pumpkin here pollinated and growing. We're supposed to have a next one over here. Let me see, let me see. I hope you pollinated, my friend. There was one somewhere over here, but it seems like, oh, okay, look it here. Yeah, so let's see. But you know, guys, this is the ending of the garden season. Ending of the garden season, and we still have stuff going on. There's a lot we didn't even harvest. We have a nice pumpkin coming along here too. We have a lot we didn't even harvest. This was a little patch right going down here, and we didn't even get the chance to harvest any because the pumpkin vines was running through them, so we couldn't harvest them. So we have a lot of edibles in this area still to harvest. We have, let me see, we have pumpkin still to harvest coming along. Okay, and we still have pumpkin here, okay, coming along here. All right, we see, guys, we still have like 2 more weeks before the frost. 2 more weeks. So we're hoping that all our small pumpkin can thrive in before the that frost hit. Okay, this pumpkin it did not pollinate. You see that one didn't pollinate. There's the next one I have over here. Let me go and check see if this one is pollinated. So welcome, guys, welcome, guys. Don't forget to start your compost pile now. Don't wait until spring to start your compost pile. Start your compost pile now, that when the spring your garden will be doing well. All right, so let's see again, guys. Let's see. Okay, look, we have a next pumpkin here. This one here, it's an orange. This is an orange pumpkin, and it's doing well. They didn't produce during the year, but now it start producing. Now we get it ready for the ending of the garden season. All right, so that's our banana up there. This is our second banana produced this year. This is our second banana, but this one looking like is not gonna be ready. It will not be ready before the frost. We already overwinter one here. This is a banana plant we already overwinter. You see, guys, we overwinter this banana plant already. How we overwinter them? We take a bag and we put it over it. That's all we do, guys. Take a bag and put it over it. Make sure the coldness does not penetrate down inside there. So we have this one to overwinter, we have this one to overwinter, and we have this one right here to overwinter. We have like 4 up there to overwinter. So we're gonna make sure we overwinter our banana, because this one produced this year, and if that one also produce, but this one produced late, so we're not gonna able to get no banana from this one. But we already learned the things we have to do in order to get our banana to produce. We understand that. And guys, don't forget to save your seed. This is shisho seed. All this, you can just pick this whole plant, break it up, put it down in a bag, and just collect the seed. Oh, we still have a nice butternut squash coming through right here. Beautiful. Garden still striving, guys, still striving. And the greatest thing about this garden, guys, we already plant back this whole area. This whole area, we already plant them back with edos. This is what you call edos. This is a edo. You see, it's already starts sprouting up. But the thing about it is, when the cold weather hit it, it's gonna go back and respring itself in the spring. So all these, we need to get these in the ground now before the cold weather hit them, because if the cold weather hit them, it's gonna damage them. So they need to be covered, which is the edos. Look, there's more here. All these need to be covered in the soil. So if you see, look right here, it already starts springing up. But if the weather, the soil is so soft and nice, so you make sure you cover them, because the spring, when the spring come, everything gonna start coming back to life. So all this area here, go all the way over there, already replant already. So food will just be growing up in the garden in the spring. Now our peppers, guys, our peppers. These peppers has produced so many peppers this garden season. This is habanero pepper. This is habanero pepper. All these pepper, they produce so much pepper this year, and they're still producing. They're still producing. We're still seeing flowers. They're still producing. They never stop produce. So it was a really beautiful season, which the truth is, I always have a beautiful pepper season. I always have a beautiful pepper season. We still have tomato. We still have tomato. These could be for my lunch today. And guys, up inside here, we still have so many bell pepper coming in. So many bell peppers still coming in, guys. This is our 9.8 feet tall bell pepper tree. Hey, what's up, Akadi? How you doing? This is our 9 feet 8 inches bell pepper tree, and it's loaded with bell pepper. Check it out. And they start ripening. So we still have at least 2 more weeks before the cold weather start coming. So we just allowing them to ripen more, that they could get more mature. So this, guys, is a 9 feet 8 inches tall bell pepper tree. So for the people who never saw a bell pepper tree 9 feet tall, seeing it for the first time, let me show you from the bottom. Comes right up. Right up to the top. All the way up there, guys. 9 feet 8 inches. Yeah. All right, guys. So at the end of the day, we still have so much to harvest. Our garden season ain't over as yet. And we still have, the thing is, we have to come back in our garden and harvest all these peppers, because when the coldness come down, the coldness dries out everything. All right, so first you get the first frost, and second you get the second frost. The first frost is like a warning. The first frost is like a warning, but that second frost, it dries up everything. So we always make sure, you see the rain come and the rain beat down some of my pepper tree. Look here. All this is nice bell pepper. Sweet pepper, all this is sweet pepper, all going over there. Still more sweet pepper. And our eggplant, my goodness, our eggplant did wonderful this season. Wonderful, guys. I cannot even, and look at them. We get the rain, and because of the rain, they look so healthy, like we in the spring. That's how the plants them looking, even though we get in that cold weather pushing on us now. Well, it's not really the cold weather, it's still nice. Still ain't get the cold weather yet, but very soon the cold weather is coming. So, but the garden never stop. The thing is, if this was a continuous garden season, we would have these eggplant just keep producing. They would keep producing, but because of the colder weather, you know how it is. But these things produce, I believe I harvest over 100 pounds of eggplant this garden season. I also believe I harvest over 100 pounds of bell pepper this season. Yes, I harvest so many bell pepper this year. So I harvest almost 200 pounds of edibles. Yes, almost 200 pounds of edibles. Beautiful garden season this year. Now, this is pigeon peas. For the people who don't know about pigeon peas, this is pigeon peas. But these pigeon peas is pretty late. These are pretty late because the weather is changing and they did not produce anything as yet. So just gonna take the leaf and just put back the leaf into the soil. So guys, this is basically a free garden. When I say a free garden, let me break it down for you guys a minute. A free garden, I explain it many times. A free garden, what I consider as a free garden is where your garden, you're able to produce a garden without spending any money. How do we do that? We start saving our seed, we start setting our own seed, and we bring them out in the spring. We have the edibles them. When we harvest our edibles them, what we do, we take the top off and we push them back into the soil. So in the spring, like I was mentioning a little earlier, they're gonna start to come back up just like this. So we have our grapes gonna be coming back. We have our banana, we have our fig, all our apple trees, our plum trees, all that comes back every year. So it's like every year you have a free garden striving. All you got to do is make sure you take care of them properly. This is a 100% organic garden, guys. If you notice, I'm going to show you something that we do and enjoy doing, because during the garden season, yes, Williams, how you doing? Blessing, William, yes. Thank you for that, thank you. This is what we do, guys. So in the fall, what we do in the fall, we do not weed up our garden in the fall. We allow all our weeds to grow up in our garden. All right? We allow all the weeds. You see, like through the pumpkin, you see all the weeds growing up. We do not take up our weeds during the fall. The reason why for that, and sometimes it might feel like, it might look like, oh, you ain't taking care of your garden. No, that's not the point. The point is, all these weeds that growing up in your garden, you allow them to grow up in the fall. I mean, during the spring, in the summer, you make sure you want to clean up your garden. But in the fall, you don't want to clean them up. What you want to do, allow them to grow. And then when the weather change, what's going to happen? They're all going to dry down. They're all going to dry down and go back to the soil. So what you're gonna do now, you're gonna be mixing them back into the soil. So I don't take them up. I don't think, for me, it's not a good idea for me to take them up. So you see all these weeds that growing up all around here, which we call weed, but this is actually herbs right here. This is a herb we call part of man life. Beautiful herb, and they grow wild up inside here. But it's a herb. No, this is seed and the leaf. Sorry for that. They call this seed and the leaf. So all these herbs is full of nutrients. So what you do, you allow them to grow up. You allow them to grow up. And then when the weather change and they dry down over the winter, in the winter, all the spring, you mixing them in the soil. That's how they become compost for your garden. It's also good, guys. You see, we have watch. We have garlic just growing up out of the garden. And this is why I'm telling you guys about a free garden. Guys, it's important to make your compost pile. And like I said, do not wait until the spring to make your compost pile. Start working on your compost pile now, so everything gonna break down and ready for the spring. All this you see going around here, all these weeds you see going around here, they're gonna eventually dry down. And when they dry down, we mix them back into the soil. So this is how we actually maintain our soil. We maintain our soil in this form that we ain't got to go anywhere and buy nothing to add to our soil, because right here we use back everything we have and blend it back into the soil. So our soil will always be rich and healthy naturally. So do not underestimate your garden. Do not underestimate the soil. Please pay attention to the weeds them that grow up in your garden. These same weed will become compost, all right? Hey, Pure Grow, what's up? Blessing, blessing. You see, guys, I did not plant. These are actually garlic here, and I did not plant the garlic. What I did, when I harvest my garlic, I always leave back a few in the ground. So when you leave back a few in the ground, this is what happened. They start coming back up in the fall. So now, instead of me have to run and plant garlic, I already have garlic in the ground. So all I got to do is make sure that I take care of them, clean them out, and put some soil around them that they could grow well. In some zone, you don't get the cold winter. In some zone, like in zone 6, zone 7, and them area, and 5, these areas you get the raw coldness. So a lot of people in these zone, their soil freeze. Their soil freeze. So when the soil freeze, they really can't plant nothing. Nothing grows. The whole area just dry out. All the grass them dry down. But guess what? In different areas like zone 8, zone 9, and these areas, where even when it's winter, there's gonna be these type of plants still growing. You're gonna see all these plants you see coming up here gonna be still growing, because the soil does not freeze. So we also have something we call cover crop. Cover crop is an amazing thing cover crop is mostly for people in zone 8, 7, zone 8, not 7, not say 8, zone 8, zone 9, 10, these areas. Now, these cover crop, this is like cover crop here, right? These are cover crop. All these are cover crop. They will grow up, and what they're going to do, they're going to cover your soil. They're going to cover the soil and protect the soil during the winter season. Positive vibes zone star. We're talking about gardening, all right? Thank you, Pyogo. Blessings. All right. So all these is cover crop. They comes up. This one here, this is a mouse hair. This is a mouse hair here. And a lot of people eat mouse hair. This is a mouse hair. They have really small leaf. They comes up and they grows and cover. You see how these spreading? They grows up and they cover your soil and protect your soil. So sometimes some people gonna see this, like I say, zone 8, zone 9, 10, in them areas, you gonna see these type of things, cover crop. If you in zone 6, 7, I don't think you're gonna see cover crop. And what I think you're gonna see is the dry dirt, the dry soil. All right, but cover crop is so important to our soil because it protect our soil, the layer of our soil during the cold season. And then when the spring come, when we start to clean up our garden, we start to pull up the cover crop them. And when we pull up the cover crop them, what we do? We make them as compost. You see what I'm coming from? So this is how you maintain a beautiful organic garden, especially if you're living in them zones. You understand? So it protect. This is how important it is, and this is how we got to really pay attention, guys. Everything is getting expensive, so you have to pay attention these days, guys. Pay attention. Now, look how nature operates, right? Look how nature operates. It push up these weeds to protect your soil. All during the winter, they cover your soil and cover the layer of the soil. So the coldness is not penetrating the soil. Now, in the spring, we're ready to plant. What we do, we just take them out. We clean up the area now. And then what we do, we could use these now and we could make composting, or we can take it and throw it in a pile. Just like how we throwing these things in a pile over here. And just leave it. And they will break down. They will feed our plant. So all these, this is cold weather time. But if you notice, you see they coming up. These, I call them cover crop because that's basically what they do. They grow up and they spread themselves. Also the mouse hair. Mouse hair also is a cover crop. So we're gonna be having now all these tall weeds gonna dry down. Everything gonna dry right down to the ground. And when they dry right down to the ground, what gonna happen? The cover crop gonna come up and replace them. So now all these gonna dry down and then they're gonna let go their seeds in the soil, and then in the spring their seed gonna germinate, and then we're gonna see them start coming back up out of the ground. All right, but meanwhile we have the cover crop that taking fully charged. It's so amazing when you really observe and see what I'm talking about. It's so amazing how everything operates and how everything works. This is why it's so important to grow an organic garden. This is why it's so important to take pride in what you're doing and don't get distracted. Because if you understand the ecosystem of the garden, if you understand it, I'm telling you, your job will become a lot easier. Your job will become a lot easier. This is how we create free garden. A free garden is something you want to work on. So don't get me wrong. You got to work on it, get it together, think about the plants you want to grow, Think about what makes sense to you and what it makes sense to you. Think about the food you want, you like, and you grow the food you like. And this is how you're going to be creating your garden. You look for plants that comes back every year, meaning they can stand the cold weather, or even the cold weather dry them down, they're going to come back regardless. All right? You make sure you save your seed. You see this whole area here? This whole area here, onions. This was an onion bed. Look here. You see? This was an onion bed that I harvest last season. And I leave back some of them. And you see coming up here? Watch here. Small onions coming back up out of the ground. So every time you harvest, you make sure you leave some in the ground. Every time you harvest your onions, your garlic, don't harvest everything, leave back some in the ground. Now we have the celery here. This is the celery, and celery prefer the colder weather than the hot weather. In the spring, they produce a lot. They produce a lot of leaf, but in the fall, in the winter, they dries down. In the summer, they dries down. You barely see them producing any leaf. Then in the fall, you see them come back vibrant until the spring. Once the spring comes, you see they start to producing beautiful. Then, when the summer come again, they slow their growth. A lot of herbs do this. A lot of herbs strive in the winter and in the spring. And when the hot weather comes on, they slow their growth. All right? Now, right here, guys, we have our celery. We have our sorrel right here. And we harvest a lot of sorrel from this plant already. We harvest a lot. But I'm just trying to be a little patient, because the reason for that is I need the seeds them to mature. And I don't want to just harvest them, which I know they're ready. All these are ready. These are definitely ready to harvest. Very much ready to harvest. But I'm just watching the weather, and I'm just allowing them to get more mature. But they're basically ready. These, if you notice, before they're ready, guys, they have to open up and push out that flowers. All right? That's how the seed, that's how the plant get pollinated. That's how the seed will able to good. When I say to good, what I mean to germinate, because they are good seed that pollinate. So if you pick them before this process, they're not gonna get pollinate, and the seed, you mightn't get no seed, or if you get any seed, it mightn't, it ain't gonna germinate. This one I know for a fact already to go through that process, which is taking out, pushing out the flowers. Then the flowers gonna come out just like this, and then the flowers gonna close up, and it's gonna go right back in, and then it's gonna seal up itself, just like this one, just like these. So we know for a fact that these are already went through that process. It's a lot, and it's one tree, but it have on a lot. It already went through the process, but we just watching the days and watching the weather that we could actually get seed. Because guys, we want to able to have our own seed, and this is how you have a free garden. We want to have our own seed. So when we have our own seed, we could set as much as we want. We could grow as much as we want according to our space. So right at this moment, this is loaded. Everywhere it's loaded. And I already harvest some already, and I make some juice. And guys, that juice was amazing. The taste was, listen me, because they were fresh. I make it fresh with some, I put ginger inside of it and clove. And I boil the ginger and the clove for a while, that the flavor could come out the ginger and the clove. Then I add this, the sorrel, into it and allow it to boil for at least 10-15 minutes. Then I put it to cool down. And then after it cool down, you just leave it, then you make your juice. Man, that thing was so tasty because you could have tasted the ginger, you could have tasted the clove. But what a lot of people do, they allow the ginger and the clove to overpower the sorrel. So when you're drinking the sorrel, it's like you feel like you're drinking ginger. You know, that's not how I do it. I do it in a way that the sorrel overpower the ginger, but you're going to still get that little taste of ginger inside of it. You're going to get that little taste of clove inside of it, but you're not going to allow the ginger to overpower, meaning do not add too much ginger, because if you add too much ginger, you know how ginger is strong. Ginger is pretty strong, so it will overpower the plant. It will overpower the plant. So guys, this is it right here. So it's a whole lot. Think I might get a container full when I'm ready to harvest, but I'm gonna give it a few more days. At least I think I have some of them mature enough that I will able to get seed from. Now over here, it's a pity. It's a pity that these bell pepper plant right here, some of them 9 feet tall, some of them 8 feet tall, some of them 7 feet tall. It's a pity that in a few weeks, all these gonna dry down to the ground. In a few days, everything, all these plants that producing so well, all these plants that are gonna be producing so well, have so much pepper. Look going on here, so much peppers, still producing onto this, still have flowers, still have small peppers. But in a few weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, the weather gonna come and it's gonna destroy everyone. It's a pity, but what can you do? That's how nature operates, right? Some people overwinter them, but there's no need for me to overwinter them, because the growing season that I have is pretty much long enough for me to grow, so I don't need to overwinter anything. All right, what I do, I grow, start them indoors from seed, which is very important. All right, so this is seed right here. This is an okra plant. What we do, we break it down. This is the okra plant, and all this is seed. You see guys, this is what we call free garden, because now we ain't got to spend any money trying to buy anything. We save our own seed. Look here again, this is what you call the shishu plant. You take this, you break this, this is more than enough seed for you to save. You see, all that gonna go back to the ground and to the soil, and when they come back in abundance. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use most of them for compost. You see, all these pepper is still producing at this moment, but the garden season is out very soon. Oh man, look what's going on here. I have, oh man, all these is okra pads there right here. I have to move them. You see the rain wet them. All this is okra right here. So I have to take them and remove their seed. This is what we call, guys, saving seed. Free garden. Now all these is edos. All these is edos. We have edos and potato here. We're going on. I mean, this is food right here, you know, guys. This is actually food right here, which I'm going to be taking them up, because this is actually food right here that I have. But most likely, I harvest over 200 pounds of Edo this season. And most likely, these might go back into the soil. Look right here, guys. We have all these are Edo heads. The top of the Edo plant. Look, all this. All this is Edo plants right here. They could go back in the ground. You see? Ready to sprout. So all these got to go back into the ground, which is a lot. And if I don't put the, if I leave them here, what's gonna happen? The coldness gonna damage them. But if you cover them, they're gonna come back in the spring. So it's very important for me to cover these, put this in the soil. You put these in the soil, they're gonna come back up in the spring for next season. That's how, guys, we save our seed and we produce, our garden produce for us. All right? We have pepper, we have all different type of pepper. We make sure we save our pepper seed. This is what we call burdock. Now the burdock plant also produce a lot of seed. The burdock plant produce a lot of seed. But this year, we're not going to harvest any burdock plant this year. Next year, these going to produce seed next year, which I'm going to be harvesting next year. I'm not harvesting them this year because this was their first year. I now plant them out this year. So I'm not going to harvest them this year, but next year I'm going to harvest them, and then I'm going to also get seed from them. So this is what's important, guys. All up inside here, guys, we have Edo's plant back. Look, we have potatoes growing right now, but we know as soon as the weather change, all this gonna change. But this is sweet potato growing right here. This whole area already plant back up. Over here again, all that is Edo's and Dasheen already plant back up. So when the spring come, your garden already packed with food. So all you're gonna be doing now, like the eggplant, you could start the eggplant indoors. All your peppers, you could start them indoors. This is a raised bed right here, and this raised bed already prepared and ready for next garden season. This already prepared. We already mixing all these weeds into the ground. If you notice, we have banana leaf here, just there, and we just cover them up and just leave them for the spring. So this whole bed here is ready for next garden season. This is how we create a free garden without spending any type of money and be very, very successful. There's another way you can, like if you have the space. Say for instance, you have the space, right? If you have the space, you could have a container. You could have a container, but you got to make sure it cover. I just remove it, the cover, but you add all the weeds that you pick up in your garden, everything you pick up, and you just add it down inside there. This is the cover right here, and you cover it. Sometimes I seal it up, sometimes I open it for air. These are ways you feed your plant, and this is an amazing way how to feed your plant. Making natural composting. So how you guys doing today? Are you still harvesting? Is your garden producing? Or are you still harvesting? What's going on? Is your garden season over? Let me know, guys. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on with your garden, guys. Talk to me. Let me know, guys. Let me know. How was your garden season this year? How much did you harvest? Are you planning to start a new garden this season, or you already a gardener? Talk to me, guys. Speak to me. At this time of the season, garden season look luscious, guys. Look at it. Luscious, green. Everything green. My bell pepper them green. Eggplant green. Everything just looking luscious and beautiful. Beautiful. Let me give you a little tour. Check the egg. This is the eggplant them. Check how healthy these plants looking. Healthy, even though, and still producing at this moment. Look how they're looking. At this moment, healthy. When you take care of your soil, this is the type of result you get. Your plant just produce non-stop. Look how much look how much eggplant coming here. Watch here, still producing. Even though the weather is right around the corner, watch here, still producing. All of them still producing, watch. This the result you get from fixing your soil naturally. Your plants never stop produce. All right? Pepper still producing. Everything still producing, guys. And I could show you that, I'll show you for a fact. Look up here. You see here? That's a small pepper. That small pepper right up inside there. So this is facts I'm telling you. When you have a natural garden, when you build your soil naturally, the result you're gonna get is continued production. When you're talking about okra, when you're talking about pepper, when you're talking about eggplant, these type of plant will not stop produce until the garden season ends. They will naturally continue produce. Even when the frost hit, they will still produce. When the frost hit, they will produce even onto that last day. And when the frost hit, the frost, you lose a lot of small ones, you lose a lot of flowers. Even my pumpkin and this moment is still producing. Every plant is still producing. All these peppers still producing. Bell pepper still producing. Eggplant still producing. It's very important. And it might sound a little harsh, guys, but like I said, if you build your soil the right way, your job in your garden become way easier. Because whether you take care of your plants or not, they're still gonna produce. If you take care of them, they will produce more. But even though you ain't take care of them to the fullest, say for instance, you have a busy season and you only could go in your garden for a certain time, they're still gonna produce because of the soil. Because of the soil, they're still gonna produce. So that's the importance of your soil. That's the importance of building your soil. That's the importance of walking on your soil. That's the importance of having a natural soil. Keeping all the bacteria that's needed in your soil and not tracing them. Because they all create an ecosystem in your soil that's well needed. They all create that ecosystem that's well needed in your soil. So if you trace them out, you actually messing up your soil. So the more natural you keep your soil, the more everything stays. All the beneficial insect, the beneficial parasite, they gonna stay because they're getting what they need, what they desire. They're not gonna go anywhere. they're gonna stay there because they're getting all that they need. But once you start adding these type of things, we're gonna start